it had been in the past.
And it's always steady improvement. That's something that you want to see in these players and these guys and these programs. You know, how do you get better each year in, year out?
Marquette controls the tip into the hands of Chase Ross. Cam Jones now works it over to Joplin. An early opportunity for Jones. He doesn't miss many.
Not too many. I mean, that's perfect execution right there. The spacing, how everything was crisp. Great screens. I mean, it's a good start for Marquette right there.
Back-to-back Big East Player of the Year is Pelote, the lone senior returner for Western Carolina, takes it to the rim and then the finish.
And as Western Carolina, if you're going to be an underdog, you're coming into a hostile environment with a top 10 team. You can't play with any fear. And I like that first attack. Get to your right hand, get downhill.
Ward Stansberry comes away with the rebound for Western Carolina. And now here's Brandon Morgan. Scored 13 in their last game against Florida State. Back out to Stansberry.
And the biggest thing for them is going to be how can they deal with Marquette's pressure. It feels like everybody in the country so far that this seen Marquette has had a problem with it.
That is really a staple of this Shaka Smart culture here at Marquette. You have to play great defense if you're going to play for Shaka Smart.
You're going to be on the bench.
And Gold does not draw rim. It'll go out of bounds, and it's catamount ball. Take a look at Shaka Smart. What a job he's done here. What a great fit he's been for this Marquette program.
I mean, what he embodies, how he is as a person, his personality, his demeanor, it's a perfect match for what is expected here at Marquette University, the tradition that's held, and, you know, he embodies it, and you can see it in the play of his players.
Foul up top against Cam Jones. See Marquette with that pressure, making it tough on Western Carolina to get it up the floor.
Thing with pressure, you got to pressure with intelligence. You know, you can't pick up too many cheap fouls. You know, that's Cam's first early in the game. He's got to be smart, but you know, it's still expected. You're going to play defense at Marquette.
Cut inside to Pelote, who finishes. An early lead, just getting underway here at Fiserv Forum for Western Carolina. Joplin puts it on the deck, going hard, draws contact, doesn't get the foul, but he does get it to fall.
That's how you got to play. Again, that's another way to get yourself involved, get to the paint, get some contact. You know, don't necessarily just rely on that three-point shot.
Stansberry off the mark, and a foul against Pelote, trying to go up and pull down the rebound.
I like the energy Western Carolina is playing with. They're playing with a lot of energy. They're not playing with any fear. They're attacking. So far, they're handling the pressure. Obviously, it's still early.
That's not Pelote, rather, I should correct myself. That is Vernon Collins, whistled for that personal foul. Jones off the handoff, taken away by Stansberry, and Western Carolina wants to run. Stansberry going all the way, trying to go coast to coast. Pelote tries to finish and clean it up. He'll draw the foul.
That fearlessness, there's that energy that they're playing with. Marquette's definitely going to have to wake up a little bit. You know, you're not coming into a game where thinking you're just going to roll over a team.
Western Carolina 2-3. They have played a tough schedule so far. They will play a tough schedule on the backside of this game as well against Marquette. First year for Tim Kraft as their head coach. He's challenging his team right out of the gate.
And that's what you want. That's what you want out of your coach. That's what you expect out of your coach and your players. You know, coming into this game, you've had a tough schedule. It's been up and down. You're a very young team, and you like to see how your team will respond in tough environments. And so far, again, early game, but answering the bell.
Comes Marquette the other way. Joplin. Now Jones with the basketball. Defended by Morgan. Cuts him off. The corner for Gold. Doesn't fall. And here come the Catamounts the other way.
They're not afraid to push. I mean, they average 75 points a game. You don't get that by walking it up the court.
A nice look by Emery. Kelvo. Crowd wanted to travel. He falls down with it, and a jump ball is called.
That's good by Cam, having one foul, getting challenged right there, standing your ground, showing your hands, still able to make a deflection. You know, that's big for Marquette. You know, they count deflections.
One of the younger teams in the country, this Western Carolina team. They have players from 10+ states that make up this roster. And they look, you said it already, they look fearless coming out to start this game. They're bringing the fight right to Marquette early on. Emery.
We definitely can expect that from him. I mean, the hometown kid coming back, playing a high major team in your home state, leading scorer. Yeah, I expect him to get up some more shots and play with a lot of confidence.
Deep three from Mitchell, and Mitchell gets it to Swack.
And this is the kid that needs to continue to play with confidence. When Stevie's making threes, it's a whole different team. We know what he's going to bring intangible-wise. We know he's going to run the floor, guard the best player. But being able to space that court out just opens the court up for everybody.
Three-point advantage for Marquette. Cal picks up his dribble, Gold all over him. And now Stansbury resetting things at the top. He's going to attack Mitchell. Gets into the paint, puts the head down, and the little floater, he'll be called for the travel before he got it off.
We know that's what Stevie's going to do. Stevie's not going to back down from anybody. And that's everybody that goes through these halls and put this jersey on. You're not going to back down from anybody.
Wesley, those are the types of plays on the defensive end that gets the bench up on their feet. They appreciate that kind of play.
Absolutely. I mean, you compete against each other in practice all the time, you know. So if I see somebody scoring on me in practice, or not scoring on me in practice, they score on me in the game, you better say something to me as my teammate.
Marius Ross and Caden Hamilton both in the game for Marquette. Royce Parham's in there as well. And a foul up top, actually an offensive foul against Marquette. So early, but Western Carolina doing some things to frustrate Marquette a little bit here.
A little bit, you know, and that's part of what you have to do as an underdog coming into a top 10's house. You have to do the things that are going to make them uncomfortable. You got to play fearless, and that's what they're doing right now.
Offensive foul win against Caden Hamilton there on the screen. See it. And so a three-point lead still for Marquette. Under 16 minutes to go here, just getting underway in the first half. Stansbury, and then off the foot of Owens and out of bounds. It'll stay with Western Carolina. So the Catamounts doing some things early against this Marquette club. And Marquette with an 8-5 lead in the first timeout. College Hoops is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Rich day in downtown Milwaukee. It's the final day of November. Feels like December. So you would believe me if I told you that's tomorrow.
It's cold.
It is chilly in southeast Wisconsin. You take a look at Western Carolina, a youth movement, year one at Tim Craft, and look at that, 355th in D1 experience. Bernard Pelote, the only returner on this entire roster. So they are young. In some ways, that can be a good thing. You don't know any better coming into a place like Fiserv.
I was going to say, you know, youth and inexperience, it can go both ways. You know, sometimes you don't know you're not supposed to be hanging around in the game. And, you know, that's the case right here. And the other part is they can just be fearless. Like, hey, I'm coming in to win a basketball game. Anything can happen. That's why we play the game.
I told you they have really challenged themselves with their schedule. They've played Wake Forest, Florida State already. They will play Tennessee later on in the non-con. And C.J. Highland into the game. A little too strong off the back of the iron. And here's Demarius Owens coming the other way, taken away by Highland. Little run out for C.J. Highland, and he doesn't finish. Owens coming the other way, pushes it up ahead to Ross.
Those are opportunities that you really need. You know, you made a great play. You missed the floater. Come down, get the stop. You got to finish that. But great effort, great energy. And again, that just goes back to that fearlessness. I mean, it would sound like a broken record, but Western Carolina is not playing scared at all. I saw at the timeout that Marquette only had 3 deflections. That's very unlike a Marquette team. And you got to credit Western Carolina for taking care of the ball. And I know Shaka's going to want to see that number tick up.
Now, you mentioned deflections, and Marquette fans watching probably understand what you're talking about because it's such a big part of this program and such a big emphasis.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big emphasis when I was here. You know, contesting catches, contesting passes, you know, just activity. Don't make anything easy. I don't want you to set your offense up where you're comfortable setting your offense up. And that's really the Marquette way.
Marius Owens with another rebound. This is a youngster that really has a bright future.
But I like his game. He's a raw talent, as you can see. You know, still figuring out the spacing and all that kind of stuff. But his movements, his fluidity, how he gets to his spots. You know, once he combines that with some experience of you know, just more games, you know, sky's the limit for him.
It's very clear what the Marquette coaching staff thinks of him, because as he's gotten healthy and gotten himself into the rotation, his minutes have just gone up and his roles increased.
And you know what, you do that, and all the young kids watching, you don't necessarily do that by putting the ball in the basket. You do that by being in where you're supposed to be at the right spot, at the right time. Be in the corners, run the lanes, all the unselfish stuff that make the coach trust you. And then now you can let your talent go when you're on the court.
Foul on C.J. Highland. That'll be something to watch. You have so much athleticism on the Marquette side of it. Do those fouls start to add up a little bit on the Western Carolina side?
I mean, one thing that, you know, Shaka says that they want to be ruthless. And, you know, that just comes with your preparation, your attack, your mentality.
And Jones heating it up.
When he gets going, that just opens everything.
Collins inside. And now Emery. And the Wisconsin product knocks one down.
I know that felt good for him. I know that felt good for him. Like I said, coming back home, playing in a high major situation, making a shot. Who knows how many friends and family he's got.
Jones again. This one a little short. Highland with the rebound. And they want to push. Every time they get a rebound, they're looking to push in transition. Emery trying to double up. In and out.
That was a heat check. That was a heat check.
Jones crosses over. Kicks it out to Caden Hamilton. Jones again. Nice speed inside to Hamilton.
That's a great pass. And you know, he's just showing all that he can do. You know, he's developing as a passer, as a leader. You know, you see him bringing these guys into the huddle saying, hey, this isn't good enough. You know, the standard in which, you know, Marquette holds themselves to, which Shaka holds these guys to. You know, he really upholds that, and you can see that he's growing every single year.
Foul is on Vernon Collins, his second. You know, you go back a couple of years and you watch Cam Jones, then you watch him now. He does such a good job letting the game come to him. He has really turned into a very mature player on the offensive end.
Has a natural pace that not many players have, and you know, coaches and scouts you absolutely love. He doesn't get sped up. He knows where his guys are, and you know, that comes with preparation, and that comes with work.
A 5-point lead for Marquette here. Full court pressure against Western Carolina. Fisher Brown is into the game for the Catamounts. Here's Ice Emery trying to trap him across half court, and he will try to throw it off of Lowry. It stays with Western Carolina. Now Emery trying to reset things. 10 to shoot on that shot clock for the Catamounts. Into the corner. Emery open for three again. That one doesn't fall either.
Marquette's dodged a couple bullets right there. Those are two good looks by him. In and out.
Jones. To Joplin, back to Jones. And look at that.
He's going to get to that left. He's crafty. He can manipulate the game. And that's another thing that you like with those high-level players. How can I manipulate? How can I move the defense, you know, so that I can get to where I want to on the court?
It's really amazing how effortless he makes it look at times.
And you know what? It's not just him. It's his team, too, because he can't do all of that if the spacing isn't correct. And in order to do that, guys have to know where they're supposed to be, and they have to get there.
Look at his feel for the spacing and everything else around him on the offensive end.
Exactly. I mean, you know you want to get left. How do you open up space to go left? You got to go right.
Brandon Morgan trying to bully his way inside, and does, and finishes.
That's a tough basket. You know, great offense is always going to beat great defense. If you're a Western Carolina fan, I mean, you like it. You got a lead, and then Marquette fought back, and you're staying in it. You're continuing to compete. You're putting your head down. You're driving.
That's going to go against Emery as they were trying to feed inside to Parham. Look at Ice Emery there, Nina High School in Appleton. And he's been the leading scorer for this Western Carolina team in this first month of the college basketball season. Joplin to Jones, back to Joplin, trying to dial up a three, and he does.
That's the ball mover from side to side. One thing Shaka told us is that this team they're going to try to pack the paint, and they're going to make it tough to get in there. So in order to combat that, you have to move the ball. You have to have proper spacing. And when he came off of that handoff, Cam is going to draw attention. He's going to draw bodies. And he's going to make it easy for his teammates.
Nice finish in the lane by Pelote. And now Trey Norman on the other side for Marquette. A 19-12 lead. Gets it to Jones. And now a three for Parham. Off the iron, too strong.
As much as this game is going to be about pace and turnovers, obviously, like all games are, it's going to be a battle of who wins this pace.
Pelote trying to dial up a three. He'll take a three here and there. Spin move in the paint by Jones. The body control.
What hand did he use?
Left hand. Marquette has 3 left-handed shooters on this team.
That's pretty crazy. It's not easy guarding a left-handed player. They're very unorthodox. There's a deflection
right there. Trailing is Jones. Nice look to Parham, who will draw the foul on his way to the rim.
And that's what Marquette's best offense right there, their defense.
I mean, every facet of the game right now, Cam Jones seems to have his hands on.
And that's when they're at their best.
Spin move in the paint, Cam Jones. 10 early ones for the potential All-American. Well, Wesley, it wasn't hard to figure out who we wanted to talk to at the top of this broadcast. It was Cam Jones, and he has proven us right, because what a start to this game for the guard.
I mean, he's as advertised. His first play of the game, you see a great ATO, or not ATO, but first set of the play, he comes off of a flare screen, catch and shoot, three, and when he gets downhill, he gets in the paint, he's almost running back like, where he finds the gaps, he finds the lanes, and he's a lefty, but in order to set that left up, you got to get right, and he does that better than anybody in the country, in my opinion.
Unanimous All-Big East first team selection, and has a chance to be Big East Player of the Year, frankly, and maybe a chance to be National Player of the Year with the start that he's had to the season.
I don't see why not. I mean, you keep winning. I mean, 65% from the field for a lead guard that doesn't play above the rim. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Free throws as we come out of the timeout. Parham knocks down the first one. So a double-digit lead now for Marquette. After a little bit of back and forth early, Marquette starting to assert themselves here in this first half.
1 o'clock games, sometimes they can get tricky. Ask my man Jarrell McNeil about those. He was terrible before 3 o'clock.
We were talking to Shaka and David Joplin about early games and if the guys like them. And Shaka had a great take on it in that, you play a night game, some of those 8 o'clock tips, they're wonderful, but it's hard to go to sleep afterwards, win or lose. I mean, you're replaying the game in your mind, you're kind of hyped up, you got adrenaline running through you. And 1 o'clock game's okay because you have time to unwind and process everything.
Yeah, I hear that. Me personally, I did not like 1 o'clock games because I like napping. I'm a big pregame nap guy, so those 1 o'clock games, we figured it out.
Norman kicks out to Joplin, and now steps back. Joplin in and out. But Lowry right there to clean it up.
You know what? These sophomores, Lowry, Norman, I think they've really got a chance to take this team to a whole nother level. The more comfortable they get, the more experience they get of just game reps. And because you're going to have to rely, you need your team. You're only as good as your weakest link. And I don't really see many weak links here with Marquette, but they didn't get that much opportunity last year, and they're definitely getting it this year.
What stands out to you about this specific Marquette team?
Their tenacity, honestly. Their commitment to the defensive side of the ball. And, you know, Marquette's very unique where they have a lot of guys that can individually guard your yard. They can play one-on-one, but they still decide sometimes to put two on the ball to speed you up. They really make you play at their pace.
Oh, a good look inside to Stansberry. Comes Marquette the other way.
I like Western Carolina's. I like the way that they're playing. I really do. They're executing.
Goal.
You know what? I'm just glad for him to see that. You know, he missed his first two, but he's got to keep shooting. You know, that's what he does. That's an aspect of what he does. And, you know, his team trusts him, and those are big shots. Again, just like Stevie, when those go down, they're a whole different team.
Lowry clears for the board.
Western Carolina's continuing to get good quality looks up. Again, they're young, they're inexperienced, they're on the road, they played a tough schedule, but they're still executing.
Extra pass into the corner. Joplin puts it on the deck, driving. Now into the corner. Gold. And a foul on the rebound against Marquette.
It's a great team shot right there. That's a great team shot. You can't ask for anything better than that.
You see the pass from Mitchell and a nice stroke from Ben Gold.
That's just repetition, teeing them up. It doesn't matter how many you missed before that. I step in, I know my process. The ball's delivered on time, on target. My job is to let it go.
See, here in this first half, the depth that Marquette has too. I mean, it's easy to focus on the veterans like Cam Jones and Stevie Mitchell and David Joplin, who've been in this program really since day one for Shaka Smart, but he can go down this bench a little bit.
And that's impressive because that sometimes can work against you because you're trying to get a rhythm. It's hard to get a rhythm sometimes as a player when you're only coming in for short stints, but that speaks to the camaraderie of this team, the chemistry of this team, and the belief and genuine care that they have for each other, that not one person is stepping on each other's toes. Everybody has a role, and everybody knows that they can continue how to add to it.
Highland trying to lob it in, and does so to Morgan. Jones out there defending him. Now Kell on the right side working against Gold. Morgan for three. Joplin fighting hard for the rebound and coming down. It'll be a held ball.
There he is, and that's what we talked about. Attacking the glass, being relentless, get yourself engaged, get on the floor, get some contact, that get you going, get the juices going. And
that's almost the exact conversation you had with him during shoot-around today.
And it's awesome that not only do you talk it, you then go and live it. You know, you say something 2 hours, and then this is what I'm going to do. This is what my mindset is, and then I go out here and I produce and I show that.
It's one thing to speak something into existence, but as you said, you have to go do it and prove it to yourself, and he has done that in the early goings of the season. Ross, instead, it'll be an offensive foul against Marquette. This will go against Gold on the screen. That's the 7th team foul on Marquette here in this first half. First personal against Ben Gold. Approaching the 8-minute mark here in the first half. 13-point Marquette lead. Western Carolina trying to hang around, maybe go on a run to end this first half as Highland nice take against Mitchell to finish off the glass.
And I will say, in this early season, Western Carolina is definitely getting more straight line drives on this Marquette defense than I've seen.
Make it 12 points for Jones. He is 5 for 8 from the field. 3 ball, and it falls for Pelote. Been one of the bright spots here in the first half for Western Carolina. He has 8.
Definitely playing with confidence. He's playing like that veteran.
Joplin with hesitation, spinning in the paint, and knocked away by Western Carolina. Pelote running the floor, can't finish. And now Marquette wants to run. A foul will go against Fisher Brown.
That's great hustle on Marquette, getting back in transition, contesting. That's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah, pretty active on both ends defensively, getting their hands on a lot of passes here in the first half. 10-point lead for the Golden Eagles here in the first. Ten-point lead for Marquette. 7:05 remaining in the first half here at Fiserv Forum. The number 10 Golden Eagles starting to assert themselves a little bit here in this first half. And, well, one of us was a great basketball player. It wasn't me. Wesley Matthews, my partner and analyst here on the broadcast this afternoon, one of the great Marquette Golden Eagles of all time and a former All-Big East performer. And when that happens, sometimes you get special things that come your way. And you got a jersey presented to you by Shaka Smart earlier this year.
Yeah, that was pretty special, man. It really was. It meant a lot. And this university means a lot to me and to my family. So it was awesome.
Your own version. So this is your jersey, of course, and we're gonna bring these back. And we spent a lot of time just talking about like what the jersey means to us. Some of the older guys talked about what it means to be able to wear this jersey. So
when you look at those jerseys,
they did not disappoint.
That was against Stonehill a couple of nights ago, and Marquette took care of business. Now, when you're a track athlete from the University of South Dakota, like, they haven't presented me with anything special like
what
that.
What would they present a track athlete? You would get some cleats, maybe?
Spikes, maybe.
Get the spikes.
Yeah, maybe spikes.
What was your events?
100 and 200.
102. Oh, you got up out of there, huh?
I thought I could. I didn't have this kind of a resume. I can promise you that. Look at that. The playing career of Wesley Matthews. 8 different NBA teams. A 15-year NBA career. That is just so hard to do. And I know you'll be humble about it, but I don't know that I would be if I were in your shoes.
I mean, you know what? I owe a lot of it to this place. I spent 4 years here, and I grew, and I learned a lot, and I just got pushed to levels where I could sustain an NBA career. And I'm very thankful to everybody here that helped, and everybody after that helped.
Marquette's lead 30-19. Stansbury running the floor, and a whistle on the floor. Stansbury hits the deck pretty hard. It'll be a foul against Marquette. Well, just to finish that thought, I mean, to do what you've been able to do in your career, a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of hours in the gym, of course. But I will tell you, at the early goings of your broadcasting career as well, there's a lot of basketball in your future from this side of it too, and we're glad to have you aboard.
I appreciate it. I'm thankful you guys let me tag along, and you know what? Just like anything, you've got to have a great team. So I mean, I'm nothing without the rest of everybody. So I'm grateful to you guys, and you guys are showing me the ropes. I'm just trying not to mess it up, honestly.
Same here. Stansbury's free throw is true. All right, if you're Shaka Smart, under 7 remaining this first half, what do you want to see from your team going into the locker room?
Execution. I want to see good shots. I want to see my defense. I don't feel that Shaka is going to be too pleased with his defense so far. As Royce, I'm a big fan of him. As he shoots a 3 corner, great spacing. There's part of that execution.
Just his 5th 3 of the season.
But again, their deflections were low going into this. After this timeout, they had 8.
Gold from the top of the key, deflected. And Western Carolina wants to run. They push it up ahead and off the fingertips of Peloton out of bounds. I mean, they look on every rebound to push the basketball.
They have to. I mean, going against this set defense is going to be tough, and that's what Marquette is about. So you have to take your opportunities and you have to shoot your shots. Turnovers like that they don't help your case, but they're staying in this game. They're competing.
Parham for 3 again. This one too strong. If you're Shaka Smart, you're putting together your schedule, how much of it is wanting to see a variance of different approaches so you can be prepared for conference season. Here's Gold, little Euro step, and he finishes with the slam.
That's a great play. I mean, you want to test your team as much as you can in every which way. I mean, this is a test in itself. They've got Iowa State on their radar. They've got Wisconsin on their radar, which is a big rivalry, obviously. And then you've got Western Carolina, who's a young team, not as experienced as them. You know, in a 1 o'clock game, you know, there's these things called trap games, and it's a real thing.
Here comes Ross running the floor, and a foul as he goes strong to the rim. Ross still on the ground after he went down hard. He's up now and seems to be okay.
That's one thing Marquette does great. Obviously, they got to get out in transition and play defense. But one thing they do very well, and I asked Shaka about this before the game, you know, they attack the back of a dribbler more than anybody I see in college. And what does he call it? He called it Vegas.
Yes.
Vegas, right? He called it Vegas because it is a gamble, but it's a calculated gamble. And that's, you got to have trust. You got to have trust within your team. You got to have trust with your players to know that they're not going to put the rest of the team in a bad situation to go try to make a play on the ball. And Chase Ross does it better than anybody in the country.
When Shaka Smart was talking about that, and you're right, he called it Vegas, and he talked a lot about trust, being able to trust your players. And really, when you trust your players, then they trust you back, and everything just really kind of flows from there. But there's some maturity involved in that on both sides. Maturity from the coach to be able to trust the players, to take some ownership in it, but also from the players to be able to do it the right way.
Absolutely, and you can do that when you have coached these guys. Shaka has coached these guys for a long time, and that's kind of different, and it's kind of rare in the landscape of college basketball now with transfer portals and all of that. Guys are coming in and out, but Marquette is one of those universities where their guys stay, and they learn and they grow, and you put a product like this out on the court.
And now a 16-point advantage for Marquette. Under 5.5 to go in the first half. Emery working against Lowry on that left side. He's swinging around. Spin move in the paint by Jamar Livingston. He doesn't get the roll.
That's a great move.
But he gets the whistle.
That's a great move. You attack the feet, attack the big, play off two. But on the other side, I mean, Marquette is switching 1 through 5. And that's again, you asked about Shaka and all that kind of stuff, like what you want to see out of your team. You're saying that your guys can be versatile. They can got 5s, can guard 1s, and different things that you can try to add to your toolbox later on in the season.
Foul was whistled against Caden Hamilton, his second. Livingston misses the first free throw. It's Cinque Lemon, should say Cinque Lemon, that checks into the game. He has not played a lot this year, but getting some minutes here late in the first half for Western Carolina.
Right now, no Jock, no Cam, no Stevie. Who from Marquette is going to adopt that leadership role? Not necessarily playmaking and facilitating, but who's going to bring the guys in? Who's going to talk? Who's going to make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be on the defensive end, so that now they can get out and run and play in space?
5th turnover on Marquette after the travel by Owens. Morgan trying to attack Owens and looks inside to McKee, and he dribbled it off of Lowry and out of bounds. It stays with the Catamounts.
This lineup right here for Marquette has the potential to be one of the best defensive lineups in the country.
A lot of length to this lineup.
A lot of length, a lot of versatility.
Livingston against Ross. 12 to shoot on the shot clock. Rising up is Emery, and he gets it to go from the baseline.
Great offense is going to beat great defense every single time. I mean, that's just a great one-on-one battle.
Hamilton for 3. Emery clears for the rebound. Pushes it up ahead. Livingston. Splash for Livingston.
Western Carolina, you have to continue to play with confidence. You have to continue to shoot the shots when they're there, when they're available.
The third 3 of the season for Livingston. Lowry trying to finish inside. Saved to Emery. Knocked away by Ross, but then called for the foul on the back end of it, a little bit of contact. A 10-point Marquette lead. Western Carolina hanging around, trying to battle and trying to go on a run to end this first half. Well, it's a great schedule on Wednesday night on FS1. A huge night of college basketball. You've got 17th ranked Baylor taking on 2nd ranked UConn. That's at 6 Eastern. And then at 8:30, Hunter Dickinson in Kansas, the #1 team in the land, facing 21st ranked Creighton. And Ryan Kalkbrenner, maybe. He didn't play today against Notre Dame for Ryan Kalkbrenner. It all tips off on Wednesday night on FS1. There is the preseason Valley Player of the Year, Ryan Kalkbrenner. Again, did not play against Notre Dame today for Creighton, who is off to a sluggish start. Maybe not what people expected to start this year, but I think you can count on Greg McDermott getting that team to hit their stride by the time Big East play begins.
Absolutely. And they lost 2 players to the NBA? So, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to replace that talent right away. But, yeah, big fella, he's a game changer. No doubt about it. I mean, I have confidence that they'll turn it around. And sometimes you need to stumble early.
Yeah, Kalkbrenner in the middle, and then McDermott's so good at spreading the floor and getting his guys, his shooters on the perimeter, open looks. And that's something that Creighton does as well as anybody, making that extra pass. But they've had some struggles early, as is UConn. A little bit of a surprise early on.
Definitely. They got some talent. They got a young freshman over there, Liam. He can play. He definitely can play basketball.
A 7-0 run right now for Western Carolina. And this is what Tim Kraft wanted to see, is take the best punch from Marquette and then come back at him. But Cam Jones back on the floor, and that makes a difference.
Again, just the way he can manipulate, you know. It's almost like he lulls you to sleep, making you think that he's not going to go the direction that he's going to go. And then before you know it, he's laying it up with his left hand.
He has 14 of this first half on 6 of 9 shooting. Emery lost his dribble. Gets it back to Livingston. Now he'll reset with 10 on the shot clock. Working against Joplin. Into the corner. Tipped around and into the hands of Joplin. Joplin slowing things down a little bit. Now he'll step back for 3. Joplin knocks it down.
That's a big time play. That's a big time rhythm shot. You know, I would like to see Marquette try to get up and down a little bit faster, run the lanes a little bit harder, and see if you can guys get you some easier buckets. Because when Western Carolina is loading up, they're not terrible in the half court. They've got length, and their philosophy is to pack that paint.
After that 7-0 run by Western Carolina, a little 5-0 spurt here by Marquette. Emery dialing up a 3. That one off the side, but he'll stay with the Catamounts.
He's not afraid, is he?
No. I like Ice Emery. I like the way he attacks the game. I like his skill set. He's going to be a nice player in the SoCon.
This play right here for Jop, I love the rhythm, the setup. You know, you're going against a switching defense. Kind of when you slow down, you little shoulder fake, it kind of puts a point of indecision with the defenders. That's all he needed.
Stansbury, as the shot clock was expiring, couldn't get it to go. Here's Stevie Mitchell the other way. Step back for Mitchell. Pelote with the rebound. Stansbury. Into the corner, Emery driving, trying for the reverse lay-in, rejected, and here comes Ben Gold running the floor. The big guy leaves it for Jones. Reverse lay-in does go for Cam. He is putting on a show here in the first half. And a timeout called by Tim Kraft as Marquette has gone on their own little run here and pushed the lead back to 44-28.
He is an elite finisher. He is definitely an elite finisher, and the versatility again of Marquette being able to push from multiple different people. You got Bingo with the block, pushing in transition. There's your center, your 5, you're running the wings. I mean, he got 3 people he could have passed that to.
Impressive from Ben Gold to run the floor like he just did, but not a shock that he found Cam Jones and Cam Jones finished.
Right.
That's the recipe.
Yeah. At this point right now, find him. I mean, he's getting it going. He's getting into that paint. He seems to be the one guy right now from Marquette that's been able to get into the cracks, into the paint, and still finish at the rim, which is something that Western Carolina is trying to take away. I mean, you switch, you hedge, you do all these things on defense to limit the paint. So it looks like they're trying to, you don't want to live with it. I mean, you don't want to give up anything, allow anything, but it seems that they're okay with Marquette shooting behind the line threes with certain people, obviously. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to let Cam Jones keep teeing up threes behind the line, but you got to take something away.
He has 16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He had a triple-double earlier this year. He's trending towards flirting with that again here this afternoon if he's on the floor for close to the 40 minutes. And now Stevie Mitchell knocks it away. In transition, rises up off the glass for 2 more.
And this just plays to the depth that you touched on earlier about Marquette, where, you know, they just went on a run. Now Cam Jones is sitting on the bench, and now you got Stevie in the game, and right away he gets a deflection, steal, run out. It's like it's just waves that Marquette can attack you.
And all Marquette for the last 2 minutes, a 9-0 run, and stepped out of bounds after the steal, so it stays with Western Carolina.
Now this is the part of the game where Western Carolina, you have to be careful. You got 1:33. You've played a very solid basketball game up until this point. Obviously Cam Jones is an All-American. He's going to do All-American things. But you cannot let this 1:33 get away from you. And if you're Marquette, you got to keep going. You got to keep going and being relentless. What's that word? Ruthless.
Stays with Western Carolina, but Marquette, the energy level right now, they've just turned it up. And it starts on the defensive side. Defense leads to offense.
Every time. At every level, defense leads to offense. And that's Marquette's identity. And I'm sure Shaka let them know we only have 12 deflections going into this timeout. This isn't who we are.
Emery, nice feed.
Great play.
And
Great
Kell
play.
Finishes at the rim.
You have to continue to execute if you're Western Carolina. You cannot let them speed you up. You got to remember what you did earlier in this half and rely on that.
.60 seconds remaining in the first half. Zayd Lowry dialing up a 3. It answered.
And then once he starts doing that at a consistent level and finds that confidence, again, like I've said this, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when you can shoot the 3 ball, it opens the game up so much fun, not just for you, but for your team.
Just his second 3-pointer of the season for Zayd Lowry. And it's now a 19-point advantage for Marquette. They are really finishing this first half in a way that'll make their head coach happy. They will hold here. There is about a second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, and a timeout called by Marquette.
I like this timeout right here. Get your guys in, get the play you want, and go out this half the right way.
So take a look at what's coming up here at halftime. At the first half highlights and stats, and then we'll send things to LA. Mike Hill, Bill Raftery, Donnie Marshall, Casey Jacobson. They'll take a look at the Big East. We've been talking a lot about the Big East through this first half. It'll be a big conversation as well in the second half. All coming up on the Jeep halftime show from here and back in LA. 21 deflections now for Marquette. So you're talking about 12. They upped the intensity quite a bit in that last segment.
That was what, like 3-minute spurt right there where they got 9 right there? I mean, that's who they are, and that's who they have to be. And I know that's probably what they were hearing. If we had a soundbite of Shaka, he was probably letting them know about it.
So they will essentially hold for a last shot. There's a little bit of difference between the game clock and the shot clock, but it's about maybe a second and a half at most. And so they get it into the backcourt for Cam Jones, and he will walk it across half court and set this up.
I can't emphasize enough the IQ level of that right there with Coach Shaka to recognize we can get this last shot. I have timeouts. I'm not going to take them with me. Let me get my guys. Let me get the set that I want.
Jones in the paint, left hand, didn't get the roll, and Stevie Mitchell's putback no good. At the buzzer, Stansbury didn't get it off. It's off the glass anyway, and we go to the locker room. Marquette flexing their muscles with a 19-point lead. The number 10 team in the country doing what they're supposed to be doing against Western Carolina. 20 minutes into this contest.
It took a little bit, but like you said, number 10 team doing what they're supposed to be doing.
They got a great first half from Cam Jones. 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists from the veteran and the potential All-American and Cam Jones. Impressive first half from the Golden Eagles.
Playing against Western Carolina, but playing against yourself, you know, deflections, intensity, all of that kind of stuff. Can they do that for an entire game? And I think there was lapses when they didn't, and then obviously when they did, they were able to build that lead.
Western Carolina really put together a pretty good first half, but Marquette closed on a 12-2 run, and that is why the score got as lopsided as it did. Pelote with an early 3 and leaves it short. Gold with the rebound, and he's hobbling a little bit as he comes down with the glass for Marquette. Ross now into the corner. Jones to Mitchell on that left wing.
You alluded to it. Yes, Western Carolina definitely put together a pretty solid half, but at the end of the day, basketball is basketball, and it comes down to shot making.
Yeah.
And, you know, if the ball's not going in, the ball's not going, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah, you can do all the other things right, and those are important things to give yourself the best look you can get, but if the shot doesn't go down,
which is also good,
it doesn't matter.
You know, we talked about how young this team is. You know, this is a game where you can build confidence. Like, hey, we didn't make these shots. That's easy to do. Get into the gym, get into the lab, work on your game. But what you can take away is, hey, against this great defensive team on the road with this experience, we still got these looks. And that's the encouraging part of it. And on the other side, you know, they're not making the 3. But if you're Shaka, if you're Marquette, and you're trying to be the best of the best, rather than 14 attempts, they get 9 attempts. They get 8 attempts.
Marquette was pretty convinced that should have stayed with them, but it won't. So look at the play there. Look at David Joplin pleading his case, but it's Catamount basketball. Just getting this second half underway in Milwaukee. This is Morgan with the basketball. Emery finds Morgan now into the corner. Stansbury. Just 2 to shoot on the shot clock. Got to hurry. Morgan doesn't draw rim. And it is Marquette basketball, and Shaka Smart will be glad to see that defensive possession from his group.
That is the complete opposite of the first 2 possessions to start the game, where Western Carolina were at the rim. Their first 2 shot attempts were contested 3s.
Joplin rises up. Emery clears it out. Emery pushing. Morgan working against Jones. Now Stansbury thought about a deep 3.
You can see why teams, they want to run against Marquette, because against that half-court defense, they're tops in the country.
What a start defensively for Marquette here in this second half. Jones in the paint, and you just can't stop him in those types of situations.
And that's the spacing, that's understanding who's got the ball, recognition, and unselfishness. It really takes, you have to be unselfish to space the court properly, because you may not touch the ball, you may not see it, but you created a window for somebody else on your team to do something good with the basketball.
18 now for Jones. Into the corner. That's Pelote for 3, and he rattled it in.
Got to keep shooting. You got to keep shooting. The only way to get back in the game like this is you got to keep shooting, but you got to shoot good shots.
Nice look inside to Gold. Guess who again on the feed?
I mean, he's kind of got that takeover mentality in his eyes right now, where, you know, he's just going to make the play, put guys in situations to be successful.
Deflected into the hands of Jones on the rebound. Surveying the floor. Attack mode. And we have a held ball there, so the possession arrow favors Marquette.
And I don't know if it's something that's practiced. Obviously, it comes with repetition. It comes with, you know, familiarity. But when Cam brings the ball on this right side of the court, he's so dangerous, because when that drag screen comes, he's getting downhill to the middle, and the whole court is open. He's already great at making that wraparound pass to throw behind, but that attack from the right side to left, him getting to the left hand down the middle, I mean, that's a recipe for greatness from Marquette.
The carry called against Joplin. Hey, you can see it in Jones's eyes right now. You mentioned it. He is looking to get downhill on every possession.
He's looking to get downhill. He's looking to play in the paint. He's looking to impose his will. And because doing that for him, he's such a willing passer, and I feel a very underrated passer.
Highland for three. C.J. Highland with his third three of the season.
Talked about the three-point ball. They've already made two. They made three the whole first half.
Jones getting deep again, and he'll finish with that left hand. That puts him at 20.
Counting.
He's not stopping anytime soon. Stansbury for three. Ball knocked out of bounds. It goes to Marquette. But you can see Western Carolina, they're getting some looks on the perimeter, and they're not afraid to take them right now.
Can't be. You can't be. I mean, you really have nothing to lose. You came in and you fought a hard first half, but, you know, there's another half. And I'm sure coach over there was talking about, hey, we have to make shots. We have to make shots. The three-point ball is killing.
Mitchell for three, and that one goes down.
Tees one up. Very selective with his three-point opportunities. When he shoots them, he usually makes them.
Stevie Mitchell just really understanding his role. Takes the shots when they're there. He's just 3 for 4 from the field today. 2 for 3 beyond the arc. Good rebound by Joplin.
Job attacking the glass, and that's what you can do. When you get the rebound, you can push.
Big guy running the floor. Had it knocked away into the hands of Gold. Now here comes Mitchell. And we've got a foul on the floor. Mitchell's still down in a little bit of pain, but he's going to pop up. A 19-point lead at half. It's an 18-point lead at the first timeout of the second half. Marquette doing a lot of things right, as they have all season long, here today at Fiserv Forum. FS2 College Hoops is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. 18-point lead at the first time out of the second half for Marquette. I should say 18-point lead. I'm bad at math.
It happens.
22-point lead for Marquette at the first time out here of the second half. Look at the schedule coming up, Wesley, for Marquette. You got Iowa State playing really well. Of course, Wisconsin, you can throw the records out, but you won't have to because both teams playing great basketball.
Right.
And then, of course, Dayton. That's never easy when you go on the road to Dayton.
No, I lost to Dayton. I remember that game still. I mean, this schedule, and that's why this game is so important right now, that it cannot be a trap game, and that happens. You know, you get a team with the record that isn't as high as, you know, these teams coming up. How can you make sure that you take care of business?
On the graphic, there's Gold finishes. Dayton beat UConn in Maui, so
I mean, they got some games coming up. But I love the mentality. We asked Shaka about it. We asked Jop about it going into this game, and it's business as usual. I mean, Western Carolina might as well be ranked 5 in the country for all Marquette concerned.
Stansbury. Highland puts it on the floor and cannot finish at the rim. He's missed a couple of shots within about 3 feet.
That just comes with patience. You know, it might be a little bit of nerves, might be a little something, but I'm willing to bet that he probably makes those more often than not.
Oh, what a finish by Stevie Mitchell.
That's a great move in transition. Avoid the contact. Right hand, right foot, high off the glass.
9-0 run for Marquette. They pushed it out to a 62-36 lead. Stansbury, a 3, too strong. And now Western Carolina really just settling for three-pointers at this point. Joplin, he'll rise up. A contested 3 doesn't fall.
That could be danger for a team like Marquette that thrives in transition. Long shots equal long rebounds, and if you're not making them, Marquette is off and running, and they've got 5 guys that can push.
Now spin move underneath. Nice finish with a little reverse lay-in.
That's a great move. That's one of the first times in this half that they were able to get by Marquette and attack the paint.
charge against Joplin. That's his second personal. Take a look at this finish by Kell.
Yeah, angles, leverage, playing off 2 feet gives you the opportunity to pivot, gives you opportunity to pass. So many guys these days, they get into the paint and they take off a 1 and try to make their mind up after that. So many guys, you know, need to work on the fundamentals of playing off 2, and you can do so much more.
Emery for 3, and he got it to go. Ice Emery, really one of the bright spots for this Western Carolina team. He's played well.
He's going to play with confidence. He's back at home. He's back at home, and he's going to shoot. He's not bashful by any means, and you know he's one of those microwave kids. When you see one go in.
Parham missed off the front of the rim. Fisher Brown, long rebound, lobs it up ahead to Collins, and Collins gets it to go. Talking about Ice Emery, there's a big contingent here from Appleton and from Neenah High School watching him. Royce Parham just really impresses, doesn't he?
And that's Cam bringing down the right side of the court so that he can get back to his left, go in the middle off the pick and roll.
Now foul up top against Stevie Mitchell.
Royce, I like Royce a lot. I think he has a lot of upside. I compared him to a good friend and old teammate of mine, Bobby Portis. You know, I think he has a lot of talent. You know, one of those undersized guys, but way more skilled than given credit for, and definitely, you know, a dog mentality.
I think the thing we overlook so often in great basketball players is body control and the ability to stay balanced even when you leave your feet, and he seems to have that.
Yes, I mean, it's a poise, it's a strength, all of that.
Jones puts it on the floor in the corner. Again, Zade Lowry's knocked down a couple today.
Hey, when you get your feet set and you let that ball fly and you got a great point guard like Cam, again, playing off 2 feet, he was able to come to a jump stop. His threat to score, everybody lifts up. He's able to reverse pivot, find a man in the corner because he's going to attract attention. Your job is to knock the shot down.
Jones again. Down Owens, back to Jones in the paint, back out to Parham, top of the key, splash for Parham. And Marquette really putting on a show now.
Contagious. Shot making is contagious. Good shots, great execution is contagious.
Well, everybody getting in on the action now for Marquette. Stevie Mitchell in double figures. Jones has 20, and Royce Parham with 9, a triple there. You have heard us mention a handful of times that Ice Emery, leading scorer for Western Carolina coming into this game, a Neenah High School product, hometown of Appleton, state champion a couple of years ago. I like his game. We've mentioned it a couple of times.
He's aggressive, and I love that about him. He's fearless. You know, you kind of have to be that when you're 6 feet tall, but you know he can score in various ways. He attacks the basket, shoot off the bounce, which is impressive, especially at that size, to be able to create space. And you know, he's fearless.
I told you that pretty good contingent from Neenah High School here, including people representing their boys basketball program. I'm very proud of what Ice Emery has become, and he is putting together a nice start to his season at Western Carolina.
Good showing for the state right now. You know, obviously Jop being from Milwaukee, Ice being from Wisconsin, playing high D-level basketball. You know, that's good for those kids out there.
Largest lead of the game for Marquette at 27 points. Under 12 to play in this game, as Marquette has really established themselves late in the first half and not looked back at this point. Demarius Owens, very highly recruited freshman, kicks it out to Norman. Off the front of the rim, no good. Emery gets the rebound.
And I really like this lineup. I'm really intrigued by this lineup because this gives Shaka, these are the minutes right now that gives Marquette, gives Shaka the opportunity to not even only assess, but give these guys real game reps where they can put together tape and film, confidence like that. You know, he starts getting that and adding that to the bag, adding that to this Marquette team. I mean, the sky's the limit.
Points of the game for Demarius Owens. Now a takeaway, Lowry into the front court.
But I want to see a few guys in this rotation, a few guys in this lineup that are going to really emerge as leaders. You know, take on that role, take on that mentorship, that.
Demarius Owens, really, really talented kid. I think watching him develop in this program is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun for sure.
73-45, Marquette doing what they're supposed to do. Well, tomorrow coming up on Fox, two of the NFC's best go head-to-head. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals against Justin Jefferson and the Vikings. Or you could get the Bucs battling the Panthers or other regional action. Check local listings for the game in your area only on Fox. A couple of great wide receivers in that matchup. You've got the rookie Marvin Harrison Jr., Justin Jefferson, probably the best receiver in football. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s Buckeyes just lost to Michigan.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's unbelievable. I got the Vikings in this game, though.
Hey, man.
Vikings Super Bowl.
The Vikings are playing really good football, and people keep wanting to doubt them, and they keep wanting to doubt Sam Darnold, and they just keep winning.
But you know what? That's just a marriage of coaching, scheme, all that fit. I mean, it translates in all of sport. I mean, look at what Shaka's doing here. It just that kind of stuff.
Marquette has made 12 three-pointers over the course of this game. That's a season high for the Golden Eagles, and they come out in that full court pressure again against Western Carolina. 28-point lead for Marquette, largest of the afternoon. Emery working it on the right side. Now he rises up for three, and it doesn't fall for Ice Emery. Deflected around. Collins ends up with it inside for the Catamounts. He can't finish, and then Hamilton had his hands on it and knocked out of bounds, but it goes to Marquette.
That's a great defensive possession. I mean, I know they're going to not like that they didn't get the initial rebound. You want to finish your food and get that defensive rebound and go. But, you know, ball never touched the paint. I don't even think there was a pass.
Well, we were talking about day games versus night games earlier. These are the kind of day games you really like. You have a big lead. You can really enjoy this one for a little bit longer.
Exactly, and then you get to rest a little bit. If you're one of those high-minute guys, you get to rest. And this is a family. This is a team. You know, a lot of chemistry, a lot of love for these guys on the Marquette side, you know, for each other. So to see the young guys being able to play and contribute and work, you know, it's great for everybody.
When you were a veteran and you got into games like this during the non-conference season especially, how much did you enjoy seeing the younger guys get opportunities late in the game?
You definitely loved it because they put so much work in. You know, I don't get to where I'm at without everybody on my roster. You know, from top down, 1 to 17. I don't even know how many guys are carried on the roster these days. But those guys do just as much work, if not more than us. You know, they do scout teams, all of that. So when they get to go out there and play, I mean, it's a whole lot of fun. It's fun because everybody's family's here and they just love the sport.
Shaka's smart. What a culture he's built here at Marquette. He's just been a winner everywhere he's been. What a great thing it was for Marquette to be able to hire him away from Texas and let him just do what he's done again everywhere. He did it at Texas. He did it, of course, before that. Long career at Virginia Commonwealth. But when Marquette made this hire, it just felt like what a perfect marriage.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to be a certain type of individual to be at Marquette. And Shaka is definitely one of those individuals who not only can carry on the traditions that Marquette has had, but enhance them, build on them, you know, make them his own and improve. That's a great move.
What a move by Norman.
Let me find out you got back to the basket abilities. That is a great move, lost art, to be able to post up at the guard spot.
First 2 points of the game for Norman. Everybody that's gotten into this game has scored for Marquette.
And that feels good. You know, that feels good. You go back in the locker room and you're talking about that. You're back at the dorms, you're talking about that. You're having a good time again. You sweat, bleed with these guys. You know, blood, sweat, and tears. It's a real thing. And, you know, it really is a family atmosphere here at Marquette. And so when you see guys that put in the work and get to showcase it in front of the bright lights, I mean, you're ecstatic.
10 players have played in this game. 10 players have scored for Marquette. Really an impressive display of their depth here against Western Carolina. Jones still on the floor, leaves it for Hamilton. There's an assist. Cam Jones now with 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 20 points in this game. And another turnover. Marquette, they're having fun right now.
They're having a great time. And here we are, Cam Jones getting to his left hand off the right side. You can't do that without spacing. And he's just able to deliver the ball on time, on target. You have to make a decision. He's a threat at all times.
Working against Livingston. Kicks it out, Hamilton for 3. No. Stansbury puts it on the floor. And it will go to Marquette. I like the effort late here. I mean, you're under 10 minutes now, 8:06 remaining in the game, and Cam Jones still out there. These guys still playing hard.
Every rep matters. Every rep counts. And that's how they approach it. That's how they attack it. This is business.
Ross. Jones trying to leave it for Hamilton. Might have been one of his only sloppy plays of the game. Stansbury. Now they move it around. Open look for Livingston, but
you know what? You make
deflected.
up for it. You make up for it with a block.
Ross from the top of the key. Yes. Chase Ross fairly quiet today, but he knocked that one down.
You know, Chase Ross has had, in my opinion, a very underrated season as far as media-wise. He's a game wrecker. How he impacts the game on defense, and he's exploding on the offensive end. He's very talented, capable three-point shooter, strong, hard driver, can live at the foul line. I'm a big fan, Jim.
What a luxury for Shaka Smart. So many options. Having their way with Western Carolina, 35-point lead with 7:33 remaining in this game. The number 10 team in the country, acting like it so far here this afternoon at Fiserv Forum. Of course, Western Carolina, they are located in Cullowhee, North Carolina, school with a enrollment just under 12,000. And the Cullowhee area was affected by Hurricane Helene. Not so much Cullowhee directly, but the surrounding areas. There was some infrastructure that was knocked out in the Western Carolina immediate area. No phone service for a long time. They had to boil water for a few days as well. But you saw some of the members of the Western Carolina basketball team out there on the runway, on the tarmac, trying to unload supplies to get on helicopters and small planes to get to some of those remote areas in western North Carolina that were so devastated by Hurricane Helene. And of course, just a terrible, terrible situation a couple of months ago. But kudos to Tim Kraft and his team for getting out there and trying to make a difference.
Yeah, and you love that for organizations and programs to instill that in the youth, because those are values that you can hold, and you can continue that long after you leave college. You know, just being a good person. You know, above anything else, these programs, these schools, these universities, you want good men that represent yourself. That represent you.
David Joplin almost got it to go down.
That would have been a crazy finish right there.
I think that touched every single part of the rim, rolled around inside, down into the net, and then popped back out.
But I like Jop being aggressive in transition. I like him taking his time, not necessarily just settling for the three, and attacking the spacing. And again, the spacing was great. Ran the corners, allowed that drive.
Got the free throw line for Joplin. He's got the rim covered right now in the last 30 seconds. It has not been kind to him. Both look like they were good off the hand. Gets that one to go. Joplin with 9 points. And the emergence of David Joplin. It's been fun to watch him develop in this program over his time here.
Yes, definitely. I mean, especially being a hometown kid, you want to always add something to your game every single year. And I feel that he's definitely done that. Not only scoring, but like we've talked about, his attention to rebounding and his demeanor about it, his role of being a leader, embracing that. You know, I think that speaks kudos not only to the university, but to him as a person.
It is a 19-2 run again. I mean, this has been a game of a bunch of Marquette runs. That's how you have an 81-45 game, a 36-point lead. Another big run by Marquette. It was a pretty good initial 15 minutes for Western Carolina, but it's been a struggle since.
Yeah, and it comes down to what we said. It was shot making. And again, it looked like, you know, they might have settled in maybe a little more to start the second half. They hit 2 threes, but after that, it kind of tailed off.
Joplin for 3. That one's short. Gold, though, hustling for the rebound. Now open for Ross. That one won't go.
Great looks.
Yeah, you're okay with that if you're Shaka Smart.
Yeah, you're definitely okay with that. And even more so, you're happy with Ben Gold's offensive rebound. I mean, we're taught at the next level, if the offensive rebound, that ball gets kicked out to you for 3, that has to go up. And I love that unselfishness right there. Cam could have shot it. He could have closed his eyes, shot it, and turned around. But instead, he finds his big man, who just missed one, mind you, to say, hey, shoot it again.
Ben Gold knocking down another 3. He's got a couple of 3-pointers in this game, does Ben Gold. Cam Jones just put on an absolute show. He's got 10 assists now. He is 4 rebounds away from a triple-double. Gold can't get that one to go, but Mitchell follows it up. And it falls off the back of the iron.
Got fouled by his own man.
Livingston attacking. And rejected by Gold, goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Catamounts.
You know what? Western Carolina has an opportunity to be very good, because I feel they're continuing to be aggressive and taking shots regardless of their deficit. And there you go. You've got Chase Ross attacking the paint, playing off of 2 feet so he can see eyes out, finds Cam. Cam turns down, good to great. You know, that just instills confidence in your team. That's what makes people follow you. That's why you can be a leader.
You're grading somebody's game. I mean, it would be hard to find much to critique about Cam Jones today. Livingston, nice spin move in the paint. Couldn't get it to go, but pull out with the follow for Western Carolina.
Again, continuing to play hard, continuing to work, continuing to compete. At the end of the day, regardless of the score, that's what you want. You want to compete.
13 to shoot. Ross on the drive, and he's fouled on the floor.
Other than defense, obviously, that's his strong suit. You know, putting his head down, he's strong, broad shoulders, get his shoulder into you, attack left hand, get to the paint.
We have touched a lot on the Big East over the course of the day today, and we talked about UConn's struggles that have been surprising. Creighton's had some injury issues, and that's led to some struggles. Really, this has been the team in the month of November right now that has impressed probably the most in the Big East. There's some other teams that have some stake to that, but Marquette has handled their business. They have some big wins on their resume already, and I think the thing that stands out to me, Wesley, is that they've handled the success well. That's hard to do early in the year.
Absolutely. You can definitely start feeling yourself a little bit too much. And you know what? You can kind of look at it. You got a contrast where Marquette had 2 guys go to the NBA too. You know,
right.
They had 2 guys leave that were NBA talent and NBA level. And how do you step up from that? How do you make up for that? And you make up for it as a team. You make up for it with your work, recruiting.
What a finish by Demarius Owens.
Oh, yeah. Young fella can hoop. He can definitely play. Tell he's young. He had a guy ahead of him, but hey, he still got there.
And a foul up top against Stevie Mitchell on Sinkyu Lemon, who's had a couple of knee injuries. This is the first season he's finally been able to play. He's battled injury over the course of his career. So Stevie Mitchell coming out of the game as well. Caden Hamilton back in. Ben Gold is out. Shaka Smart getting his starters out of this game. They've earned it.
Now, these last 4:38, they're just as crucial to Marquette right now as the beginning of the game. Is how can you finish? How can you continue to build? These are real live practice reps right now.
And another deflection and a takeaway. Just relentless on the defensive side, regardless of who's in the game for Marquette. Zay Lowry wide open for three. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Collins, and so it stays with Marquette.
Marquette plays very well off of 2-guard sets where they try to create confusion, whether it's a step up with the same like-size players. Are you switching? Are you hedging? You know, it makes you have to talk as a defense, and when Marquette sees that you don't communicate correctly, that's how you get open shots like that.
Norman kicked away by Stansbury. Stays with Marquette with 7 to shoot. They'll reset it to 20.
And as Norman's reps come, that'll be a situation where you come off of the pick and roll 1-2 bounces. Don't be so eager to pick the ball up. You know, be confident that you can back it out, swing it, back it out, re-enter the post in a different way where you're not so much robotic-like. But again, that comes with understanding spacing and time. And that's a great pass. That's a great pass, great finish.
Now you're getting a real glimpse of the future with Demarius Owens here in this second half. He's made a couple of really jaw-dropping plays. And as you said, a nice finish by Caden Hamilton as well. Present's pretty good for Marquette. Future looks pretty bright as well.
In a good space right now.
Coming up next, he is the 2-time and the reigning Big East Freshman of the Week. Thomas Sorber trying to get the Georgetown Hoyas to their 6th win of the year as they take on the University of Albany at Capital One Arena in D.C.
Now you've seen these shooting shirts that Marquette wore today. It's in support of Nike's N7 initiative, supporting Native American Heritage Month here in November. Turquoise warm-ups designed by Marquette alumna Danielle Barrett. The N7 Fund's awarded more than $10.8 million over the course of its time. And turquoise more than a color. That's a symbolic color of prestige and power in many Native American communities, so that's why the color is. Good look for Marquette, and neat that they support that initiative and involved in it. Select college basketball programs across the country also supporting the N7 initiative. Now, this one's been all Marquette from about the 3-minute mark at the end of the first half on. This has been the Golden Eagle Show, and Caden Hamilton at the free throw line as we come out of the timeout. A little bit strong, and Western Carolina going the other way. We've talked a lot about Marquette's schedule and Western Carolina's schedule. The Catamounts, as we told you earlier, they've challenged themselves. They got a tough schedule coming up still, after already having played Wake Forest, Florida State, Marquette, Highland. Trying to feed underneath to Collins. Back out to Livingston. And the shot clock expires. That's just great defense.
That's great defense by Marquette. But even in that possession still, if you're Western Carolina, there were parts of that where you can take away and say, this is good. This is good stuff. Like, even in a game like this, that's the crazy part about basketball. You know, you can lose by 100, but you can still do a lot of good, especially for a young team. To be able to see that and say, hey, I just got to knock this shot down. I just got to make this shot. I just got to make this play. Okay, you know, Western Carolina, I like what they can be.
And this is the early goings of a brand new program, essentially, with Tim Kraft in his first year. Everybody's new except for Pelote, so everybody playing together for the first time. Livingston trying to finish at the rim, and he'll draw the contact.
And you see that, right? You see this is their first time playing, and I think this is Stevie's, like 76th start or something like that. Like, that's tough. You know, Stevie and Cam came into this together. These guys are just learning each other, over the last 3-4 months.
See the resume of Tim Kraft. long time at Gardner-Webb. And did some great things at Gardner-Webb as a longtime head coach there. Played against Western Carolina last year, or coached against them, if you will. So he's pretty familiar with the program when he took this job. Very respected coach, though, in the college ranks, and probably take him a little bit of time, but it is a different game today in the transfer portal era.
It might not take that long.
Exactly. Owens. Over to Norman on that left wing. Spinning, got in a little bit of trouble, knocked away. Here's Cinque Lemon running the floor up ahead to Livingston. Lets him go flying by and finishes off the glass.
That's one thing I would like to challenge Norman about, and again, it's going to come with more repetition and more games and more minutes. As you see a high-level move right there, the deceleration, the same right hand, right foot, but to not find the traffic. You don't have to dribble into traffic, and sometimes he puts himself in those situations when he might not have to.
Foul goes against Owens. He has 7 points. They've all come in the second half. And you can just see the feel he has for the game. Just a very natural feel to the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's a natural athlete. You can see the way he runs and jumps. And, he's got great body control. He's got a great feel for the game. And it's just going to, you can see it every second that he's out there, that he's getting more and more confident.
Nice feed to Lemon and a nice finish as well.
Great playing off the ball, playing out of that corner. Very underrated part of basketball is how can you play out of the corners.
Lowry for three. And go for Norman either. Tipped around into the hands of Livingston. And he'll be able to finish up ahead off the glass, and now a whistle. As we've got an injured Golden Eagle. That's Zayd Lowry down on the other end. And Marquette really going to empty the bench now. You got Casey O'Malley and Jack Anderson. Cameron Brown into this game. Jonah Lucas into this game. And Jake Ciardo all into the contest for Marquette. This is when you really get excited as a Marquette player. You can get all these guys in the game, but right now the focus is on Zayd Lowry and hoping that he's okay. He's in some pain down on that baseline.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's just, we want to speculate. I didn't see the play. Hoping it's just hopefully I don't know. You hope for the best right now. At any point.
Get a look at the replay here. Hamilton got a finger on it, and he just came up holding that left knee, and that certainly doesn't look good. You hope for the best, but Lowry pretty quick to go down. And Shaka Smart is out there with him right now, and Lowry in some pain. That's the one negative thing that could come out of a game like this. It's been a complete performance all the way around for Marquette, but you don't want to lose somebody to injury, and somebody that figures to be a pretty big part of your rotation over the course of this year.
Yeah, you just, you hope for the best right now. The injuries are the worst part of sport. And, you just hope he's going to be all right.
Zayd Lowry, here's another look at it. He came flying in, and he just kind of pulled up, it looked like.
Looked like he got caught up a little bit. It looked like a little hyperextension. Hopefully, it's nothing too crazy. Not that hyperextension is not painful, but you just hope that ligaments and all that are still intact.
So the walk-ons now on the floor for the Golden Eagles. These guys have earned this opportunity. Here's a three-point attempt from Jake Ciardo, and it doesn't fall. Final 90 seconds, just under 90 seconds remaining in this game.
And this is what you really love to see. Guys that come out, work every single day. Scout team, they get screened hard. They got to take the charges. They got to do all the dirty work in practice. Are the catalysts on the bench cheering. The guys that honestly make college basketball environment. When they get a chance to get on the court, you love it. I remember seeing my guys Rob Frozina and Tommy Bryce when they used to get on the court, some of the walk-ons, and you know, it would go crazy. You would think that, you know, Dominique caught a lob three or a lob dunk when, you know, one of those guys made a bucket. So you're hoping for a lot of that right now.
Thanks, Jonah Lucas. And how about the rebound by Ciardo, and he puts it in.
There it is. There it is. You love that. You love to see that energy right there. Look at it.
Now the takeaway.
You wear a Marquette jersey, you getting deflections. That's what you're supposed to do.
Lucas with it. Anderson on the right wing. Kicks it out. Ciardo for three. No. These guys are getting after. They're taking advantage of this opportunity late in this game.
I would too.
Fighting for the rebound. Lucas knocked it into the hands of Ciardo. They're going to hold the basketball. Shot clock is off. Marquette will improve to 8-0 on the season with a dominating performance over Western Carolina here today. Your final score, 94-62. Marquette taking care of business, and they will turn their attention now to a remaining very difficult schedule in non-conference. They've got a couple of big ones coming up with Iowa State and Wisconsin on the horizon.
And it definitely feels good that now you can really look forward to that. You know, as a player, you try not to look ahead. You tackle who's ahead of you, who's on your schedule, and to be able to do that in this kind of fashion, in this kind of way, everybody getting on the court,